Hi, my name's Jeroen Hoppe. I'm author of the Clapham property blog, and today I'm going to tell you about 3 improvements that you can make to your rental property to make sure it's energy efficient enough to rent out come 1st of April 2018. Right, so I'll dive right in. As you may or may not be aware, from the 1st of April 2018, landlords are not allowed to rent out their rental property unless they are at least E energy efficient. So on an EPC, there's an energy rating between A and G, A being the most efficient and G being the least efficient. And if your property falls in an F or a G category, that means you're not allowed to renew tenancies, you're not allowed to re-let it, and so on and so forth. So you as a landlord, you need to take action. You need to make sure that your property is a little bit more energy efficient to get it up to E or better. So what can you do? Well, I've been preparing for this for quite a time now. I own a few Victorian properties in London, and I can tell you they're very energy inefficient. We're talking single glazing, old boilers, single brick walls, so you can't insulate those. So what can you do? Well, the first thing is very obvious. Install a more energy efficient boiler. That makes a massive difference to not only the amount of heat that you actually get in the house, because they're more efficient for the same amount of gas, they produce more heat. It also lowers the running costs for the tenants, which is always welcome, of course. So that's number one, boiler. Make sure that your heating system, if it's not a central heating system, make sure that it's energy efficient. So any sort of immersion heaters or what have you have insulating jackets and so on and so forth. Second thing that you can do is to prevent the heat loss. So the first tip was about the boiler, making sure that the energy you do use to heat the place is used efficiently, but it's no good, of course, if the heat is quickly dissipating away from the house. So you can replace single glazing with double glazing. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, that's you can't do that in a Victorian place, you've got to retain the character, but you can actually spend good money on double glaze wooden sash windows, and they look absolutely superb. There is, of course, the maintenance aspect of wooden frames versus PVC, but I'm a bit of an old-fashioned investor in that sense. I don't always go for what's more economical for me to purchase. I do think about the capital value as well, and I know that when I finally sell these properties on, the increase in value will certainly be there if they've got the original timber frame sash windows, be they single glazed or double glazed. So people do prefer that when they buy an older property that retains the older features, so it's worth spending the extra money on double glazed wooden timber frames, in my opinion. A little bit more maintenance and painting and so on and so forth, but you can double glaze them. So double glazing we talked about. Very difficult to do with older properties is to insulate the walls. Normally they are simply one layer of brick and you can't really insulate them. You could add draft proofing in, and you can also insulate the loft. The loft is a big problem. A lot of heat escapes because normally you look up in the loft and it's literally the tiles and that's pretty much it. There might be some insulation in between the ceiling from the first floor and then the loft room, but very minimal with older properties. So it pays dividends to insulate that loft, prevent that heat from dissipating. And the third thing that I'd recommend doing is to replace curtains if you do supply them for thicker curtains. The blackout ones definitely help insulate the heat more. And you can also do things like replace the shower heads for a water-saving shower head, as well as replacing light bulbs for LED light bulbs all round. Now, there are some energy companies that will even come to your home and install all of the LED bulbs you'll ever need free of charge. There's a few deals available like that, so feel free to shop around and have a look to see what your energy supplier is providing. But I personally signed up to a deal. It is a 2-year contract. Obviously, they tie you in for a certain amount of time. But they come around to your house, they replace every single light bulb in your house for an LED one, and if it ever does break, you phone the number and you simply get a replacement in the post. So it's a nice service, and perhaps a little bit of a gimmick, but I do feel that my energy bills have come down. So there you have it. 3 good tips to make sure that your rental property is energy efficient enough to be able to rent out from the 1st of April 2018. So if you're not taking action and you do have a renewal coming up, don't leave it till the last minute is all I can say, because if you wait until the tenants are out and you have to do all these things and then get it reassessed and then relet, you're going to end up with a void period. So if I were you, I would be advising you to take action now, write to your tenants and say that you are taking a number of measures to lower energy bills and so on and so forth. Obviously it's good for the environment to lower the pressure on the ecosystem, less waste of course, but it also works for your wallet, because if you have all these things in place and your tenants do decide to move on after the 1st of April 2018, it means that you can immediately re-advertise the property for new tenants, and you never know, someone may actually take an interest that the property is energy efficient. I've yet to come across a tenant or a buyer that cares about that sort of thing, but I am going to be proven wrong in the near future, I surely hope. So, hope that serves you well, and tune in next time for another video tip. If you have any questions, feel free to email me on jeroen@claphampropertyblog.com, or come meet me in person at the Clapham Property Meet on the last Tuesday of every month, bar August and December, and hope to see you again soon.